So can anyone tell me what the difference between direct and inverse variations are? So what are the difference? Yes, that's correct. Okay. Direct variation, right? So we let P be the first quantity and Q be the second quantity. So both direct variation and inverse variations have these variables. These variables can be any letters or any Greek symbols, right? Because they can be changeable, they are variable, right? So for direct variation, uh, our variable P is equal to our constant K and variable Q, or our constant K is equal to P over Q, right? It is called direct variation because P, our variable P, is directly proportional to our variable Q, right? However, in inverse variation, P is inversely proportional to Q, which is the constant K is equal to the product of P and Q. Okay, are you with me so far? Right. Let's elaborate. For example, for direct variation, we have this example. Okay. So for this example, find K, constant K, if P varies directly as Q, where Rp is equal to 24 when Q is equal to 3. So we go back to this equation. Let's see. From this equation, the given is P and Q. And we have to find K, which is the constant. So, Q is given, P is given, K is the one that we must find. So, P is 24 divided by 3. Then K, our constant K, is equal to 8. And this is the answer of our first example. So, for our direct variation, its formula is like this. X sub 1, or the first X, is divided by X sub 2, or the second X, and which is equal to the quotient of Y sub 1 and Y sub 2. Or by cross multiplication, we have X sub 1 multiplied by Y sub 2 is equal to X sub 2 multiplied by Y sub 1. Wherein, in this case, this product is called the means, and this other product is called the extremes of this equation, right? So, for example number 2, we are going to apply this direct variation, this formula, right? So, here, eyes here, please. So, example number 2. Candies are sold at 50 centavos each. How much will 4 candies cost? So, by using this, we have to identify all the givens first, right? So, let X be the price of 4 candies. So, by this question, we are looking for the cost of 4 candies, right? So, 1 candy is equal to 50 centavos. And for the price of 4 candies, how much are we going to pay? So, this is the question. So, by using this formula, we have to identify the first price, the first quantity over the second quantity of candies. X are the candies, they are here. And Y sub 1 are the prices, right? So, for 1 candy, it is equal to 50 centavos. And for 4 candies, how much are we going to pay? This is what we are looking for, the variable X. So cross multiplication, we have X times 1 is equal to X, which is equal to 4 times 50. So, we multiply 4 by 50, we have 200 centavos. So, how much are we going to pay? 200 centavos for 4 candies. That is how we apply this direct variation. So, we now go to inverse variations. These are the examples of direct variations. Inverse variations, on the other hand, If y varies inversely as x, okay, this is the question, right? If y varies inversely as x and y is equal to 48, when x is equal to 10, find y when x is equal to 32. So, we have to identify all the givens first. We have to identify which are the x sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 1, and y sub 2. So, by this formula, we have this. For inverse variations, we have x sub 1 and y sub 1. All the ones are in this side of the equation, and sub 2 are in this side of the equation. First, we have to identify which is x sub 1. So, the first variables given are x and y. So, this must be x sub 1 and this must be x sub 2. So, we have x sub 1 equals 10, y sub 1 equals 48, x sub 2 equals 32 because we are looking for y, right? So, then from this equation, we put the numbers here, which are these numbers. Then we use cross multiplication again, right? Because we have to find y sub 2, then we have to take this constant here and transfer it here so that the variable is the only one left in this side of the equation. So we have 10 times 48 equals 480, of which when we divide to 32, we have 15, right? That is y sub 2. So, are you still with me so far? Do you still understand what I'm saying? Okay, very good. Okay. Now for our second example. Let's put this here, okay? Okay. So, for a given gas of constant temperature, which is T, our temperature is constant, the pressure P varies inversely as the volume V. So, if P is equal to 6 when V is equal to 24, find P when V is equal to 36. So, the formula for pressure and volume when temperature is constant is P1 V1 equals P2 V2, which is pressure times volume, and that's it. That is for temperature, right? So, we have two ways. We have two ways to solve this equation. First, we have to get the constant K. Do you still remember here, right? If you get the constant K, which is P over Q, then we can find the second set of the value of P2, P sub 2 and Q sub 2, right? From this equation here. X1, X2. So, for example number 2, we can solve it in one of two ways, right? So, this is the first way to solve this equation. So, we have to get K first. And after getting K, we can input this in this equation. In this kind of equation, P is equal to K over Q. As long as we have K, we can get the variable that we are looking for. So, P1 and V1 are given, 6 and 24. So, K is equal to 6 times 24, it is 144. So, we input this value of K to this second equation of P2 because we're looking for pressure 2, and K, wherein K, constant K is divided by volume 2. So, volume 2 is 36 from our problem. Then, K is equal to 144 divided by 36. We have our pressure 2 is equal to 4, which may be... and then, we have the second way of solving this particular problem, right? So, the second solution is, let me get this first. Let's take this off. and transfer this here. Okay, can you still follow me? Are you still following? Okay, we are still in example number 2. Can you see? Can you see it? Okay. So, the second one is the ratio and proportion, right? So, we have pressure 1 and multiplied by volume 1, which is equal to pressure 2 multiplied by volume 2. So, our pressure 1 is 6 given volume 1 is 24, and our pressure 2 is the one that we have to find, the variable. Then our volume 2 is 36. So by taking this constant here and putting it here, by dividing it to the other side of the equation, we have 6 times 24 divided by 36. We know that 6 times 24 is equal to 144. Then we divide it to 36. Then we have the answer 4, which is also the same from this equation. So that is how we solve inverse variations. Okay, are you still following me so far? Okay, I see that you were confused. So let's put it in layman's term, right? Let me get these papers here off first so that you can relate of what I am talking about. So before we proceed, this must be your takeaways, right? So for direct variation, you have to note that as variable P increases, variable Q also increases because they are directly proportional to each other. This also means that if P decreases, Q also decreases. However, this is exactly opposite with inverse variations, wherein if P increases, RQ decreases. And if Q increases, RP decreases, right? So that is called inversely proportional to each other. So here. So, in order for us to better understand what we are discussing today, let me make it simple. So, let K be forever. Let's change it to forever. Then P is equal to your classmate Layla and Q is your classmate Amon, right? So, in direct variation, the formula is we have K, which is constant, is equal to variable P divided by variable Q. So, what if K is equal to forever, which is equal to Layla over Amon, right? So, when we say divide, Layla and Amon are not together. So, we can say that Layla and Amon in direct variation, right? Walang forever between Layla and Amon when we say direct variation. However, when we talk about inverse variation, this is what happens. Okay, so in inverse variation, its formula is K is equal to P over Q, which is when we transfer it to these variables, we have K, which is forever, is equal to Layla multiplied by Amon. And in this sense, because they are together now on the other side of the equal sign, may forever na si Layla at si Amon. Which is, if you understand, sabay-sabay tayong mag sana all. Okay, settle down everyone. Do you still have any questions about this topic? Okay, if you have none, are you ready for a short quiz? Okay, so kindly pass these papers to your classmates, okay? Just get one and pass. Okay, very good. The first page is your quiz and the second one is your homework. I will give you 15 minutes to answer your quiz and then you can pass it later. So, 15 minutes guys, okay. Okay, 15 minutes is up. Kindly detach the first page of which you have answered your quiz and then retain the second page for your homework, which you will be passing tomorrow. So answer it thoroughly tonight. And if you have no more questions, okay, any questions? None? Then class dismissed. Goodbye, class. Thank you for coming today.